Today we need to talk about Oklahoma and when they are going to return to something like football. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on step milk. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, I'm going to talk about Oklahoma and when they plan to return to something like football. But first, a prayer for George Floyd and his family. Reach out to someone you know who looks like me. Check on them. They might not want to talk about it. They might. I know that I remember all the folks who checked on me because it is tough. All right. Oklahoma is planning to ask their kiddos to return to campus on July 1 to basically get them started on something like voluntary workouts so that they can get back to something like football and begin the process of preparing for the upcoming season and for it to start on time. Riley has been famously out in front of this thing going, hey, why would we bring kids back in June? It makes no sense. Basically outlining that he doesn't need 2 months to try to get his team prepared to play college football. He needs maybe 4 to 6 weeks to get his team prepared to play college football. Now, there are a lot of factors in here, but this is also a head coach who called it ridiculous that you would bring kids back on June 1. A lot of schools are looking at doing just that. Some are looking at bringing them back on June 15th when some conferences have said that you can. Riley's also been very vocal about taking care of himself, taking care of his kiddos, taking care of his family, and taking care of quite literally us. Just this morning, I wake up at like 4:30 so that I can work out and get prepared for my show and do my show at 9 a.m. on the Sports Animal. But I often pay attention to what Lincoln Riley tweets because it's my job. So seeing that he had retweeted a doctor saying, yo, wear a mask, man. If you aren't wearing a mask, perhaps you are displaying a level of, privilege to this thing because COVID-19 has not caught up to anybody that you know or directly affected you. My father works at a hospital. Yeah, this is very near and dear to me. I wear a mask when I go outside. So all that to say, Riley has been very clear about, no, I want to keep the kids away from campus for as long as possible because he said his medical personnel at University of Oklahoma has said that's the best thing that you can do right now is keep them away from campus for as long as possible. This is also, University of Oklahoma has a pretty damn good medical program and the Children's Hospital is renowned. So there's a lot of smart people in Norman and Oklahoma City who are giving him good advice that he's choosing to follow. And really, when your competitors are coming back a few weeks before you are, it's seen as perhaps them getting a competitive advantage on you. Riley understands this is college football. It's not even NFL, it's college football. And as long as you're going to hold up this thing that is student athlete, and as long as you're going to try to do this thing where you're saying we got to take care of the kids, that can't just extend to whether or not they get paid for their name, image, and likeness, and whether or not you want to protect what you call amateurism. That has to also extend to their well-being and the well-beings of their families, because that's really what we're going at right now. You're having to talk to parents of these kids who want to know that they're going to be taken care of. Everybody wants their kid to have an opportunity to play. Everybody wants their kid to be competitive. Everybody wants their kid to get a jump on the competition, but, at what cost, right? We passed the 100,000 death mark when it comes to this thing, and for some people it's been sobering, right? For other people, they're treating it like it's like somebody got a YouTube play button, and that's bothering me. But you know how I feel about this from jump. I applaud Riley for taking this stance and for delaying the return of his team for as long as he can, while also trying to lay out for folks one of the reasons that they're doing this. And as a matter of fact, both Riley and Joe Castiglione went into some depth as to why they had chosen July 1 as a return date and what you can expect from them once they get the kids back onto campus. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read Joe Castiglione's statement here aloud so that everybody's on the same page with this thing. As we have planned for the reopening of our facilities, the health of our student athletes and staff has been our top priority. It is the principle that has guided every step of our meticulous process at OU. We are fortunate to have one of the most respected teams of doctors and athletic trainers in the country. We have looked to them for direction in our preparation and protocols. They will continue to play an important role in the weeks leading up to our opening and beyond. We believe in our approach, and we are convinced that it best positions our student athletes and the staff for long-term success. It is with great excitement that we look forward to the return of preparation for the upcoming sports seasons. Riley added to this, as I have stated before, we are going to approach this return with extreme care. We received tremendous guidance from highly respected medical professionals, and we will follow their recommendations. We understand that the well-being of our student athletes is at the top of our responsibilities. That's why we will be diligent in how we manage everything from the way we relate to each other to the cleaning of our facilities and beyond. Our medical personnel have told us that the safest thing we can do is keep our players off campus for as long as possible. We chose the latest point that we could bring them back and still have enough time to prepare, right? Nobody has been to campus since March 13th, which basically means March, April, May, June. You're looking at about 4 months of not having any contact in a team activity standpoint. And once they do have contact, how they do those things is going to be interesting, because football is it's a collision sport. Football is a group activity. So how they navigate this is very, very important. Also, just want to add in here a little bit of recruiting news as we continue to see some momentum ahead for Oklahoma on the front of David Abiara, David Abiara, who is trending toward perhaps an OU crystal ball prediction. We've seen that Notre Dame insider Tom Loy has been out in front on that. My colleague at OUinsider.com, Brandon Drum, has been out in front on that. Gabe Brooks and Steve Wiltfong, Midland's regional analyst and the national recruiting analyst, and really the best at what he does, and Steve Wiltfong, all had this trending toward Oklahoma. We'll see if this actually happens. But seeing as Abiara committed to Notre Dame during the pandemic, it'd be interesting to see if he would actually flip his commitment in the pandemic and what that might mean. Also in there, Emeka Egbuka is apparently still an Ohio State lean, but he is having conversations with the University of Oklahoma, and we'll see how that thing goes. I mean, I think that it's Ohio State's to lose at this point, but Clemson could make a run. Washington, we all know, is the home state school, but that's kind of, at this point, I feel like Washington has as good a chance at landing him as Dax Hill going to Oklahoma during his recruitment, if that tells you anything. So we'll see about that. I'm excited to see what this class looks like. I still don't think that it's going to finish inside the top 5, especially if Caleb Williams decides to push his commitment into August, right? I mean, the later it goes on in the summer, I think the worse Oklahoma's chances are of finishing in the top 5, because you really need to have a quarterback in the boat early to try to get those high-profile offensive recruits, let alone defensive recruits, into the boat. But the way that Alex Granch and Roy Manning, Calvin Thibodeau, Jamar Cain have been recruiting on that side of the ball has been excellent. We know what Bill Bedenbaugh is able to do. We know what kind of a recruiter Cale Gundy and Dennis Simmons have turned out to be, and Lincoln Riley is one of the ultimate closers. So we'll see about that. All right, that is it for me. Deuces.